Let's talk also for a sec about new voter registration. So after the Taylor Swift endorsement, oh, and by the way, Donald Trump tweeting or truthing the other day in capital letters, "I hate Taylor Swift." He's a fifth grader. I mean,
It's cry for help.
just, oh my
It's cry for
God.
help.
Anyway, but so she does her endorsement, and immediately there's something, I've seen different numbers, but somewhere between 300,000, 400,000 people went to vote.org. But there are other numbers. So this is from Voto Latino. This is one of their people saying, so we were registering roughly 60 to 100 voters a day on Friday. On Monday, it jumped to 3,000. By the next Friday, it was 8,000. It was super exciting. Night and day. It's a very cool chart. So clearly something going on there. Should we all calm down about new voter registration, or is this encouraging?
No, I think new voter registration is very encouraging, because again, back to polling, we see polling with registered voters versus likely voters. There's a lot of confusion in the air. If you motivate someone who is a non-voter to become a voter,
Yeah.
in this environment, and if they are likely to vote for Harris and that campaign is awash in resources,
Yes, it
drowning in
is.
money because of the excitement, I believe that they are going to be, strategically allocated to try to educate these people who are new voters to where they can vote, how they can vote, on and on. And I think that that's a very encouraging sign, because I really think our concern is that we talk about whether or not Harris has reached the Biden 2020 threshold with a bunch of groups.
Right.
Non-Trump, anti-Trump Republicans, Latinos, Biden has lost some. Young Black men, Biden has lost some. Right? So the Democratic coalition has shrunk a bit. Trump has some new converts. That's the reality. What we think is after January 6th, we will have some new converts in the Republican Party. You want to make up for, you want to make up for the loss of young men who are being heavily targeted by Trump and Vance, white and non-white, with new voters. So you want to motivate existing young voters, and then you want new ones. And the idea that they see 107, they saw 2 weeks ago 178% increase in new registration for Black women across 13 key states. I mean, these are on the margins. These are really significant developments.
Yep. And of course, I mean, I will say this note of caution, perhaps, that people who register, they don't all wind up voting, and so there's a certain amount of attrition that happens at every stage, right? Getting them to register and then actually getting them to turn out and so on. But there's no question that it's a really, really good sign. And then, okay, let's close on this. Just pulling back the lens, we are looking at a Democratic ticket that honestly, I mean, we can quibble and we can say there are a few things they need to be doing better, but honestly, they are playing excellent ball, the Democrats right now. And if you look over at the Republicans, on the one hand, you have Trump traveling around with Laura Loomer. You have J.D. Vance confessing on television that he made up the story about the cats and dogs to get press attention. You have, the "I hate Taylor Swift" in all caps. And then you look over at the congressional GOP, and it's like, what are they up to? They control the House of Representatives. Another government shutdown looming. These people are utterly unfit to run a neighborhood 7-Eleven. Your views.
What's so I'm actually sort of working on a column about this very thing. What's so pitiful is Speaker Mike Johnson does not want to shut the government down and is doing everything he can to. He is to avoid that. And he's being encouraged by J.D. Vance, who's the vice presidential nominee, and Donald Trump, who's the presidential nominee, to shut the government down. So it's an important distinction because it's part of that campaign that you just mentioned. All the things they're doing in their presidential campaign, that's actually part of it. It's not some liability of some lunatic Republicans over in the House who are, going to give them some bad publicity. Like, they're Trump and Vance are in on that. I'm really surprised also you talked about the Harris-Walz campaign, which I believe too has made like maybe one error. I mean, I think JVL noted last week that, or maybe it was in yesterday's column, which is amazing, his triad yesterday, but that maybe after the convention, they shouldn't have gone quiet for a few days. Maybe that's a miscalculation, but essentially they've really, really been a smart campaign. And one of the things I find so fascinating about the decision-making on the Trump campaign side is to make J.D. Vance so forward-facing.
Yes.
So he has a big mouth, but he would not be doing any of this if Trump didn't want it. He would be nice Senator Vance in the corner waiting to be called on by large orange man baby, and it would be the Trump show.
Right.
Only. And he would be happy to sit in the parking lot. However, this is his role, is to go on TV 5 times every Sunday, to tweet like he did last night, some belligerent gaslighting crap on Twitter about how everything that's ever happened that's bad is the Democrats' fault, and they're going to dig into the pet eating, and they're righteous on the question of migrants and everything else. It is so fascinating to me that they've seen the poll numbers on his favorability, and they have made him like the 50% face of the campaign. It's a really interesting calculation to me.
Yeah, so I totally agree. And I am actually surprised because, if you go back a couple weeks, it seemed there were all of this scuttlebutt was out there about how, Trump kind of regretted choosing J.D. Vance and recognized that he was a liability, and he threw him under the bus at the debate. And we haven't talked about that, and so on. And yet he is making him very forward facing as the face of the campaign. And I'm wondering if that, what's going on there? Is Trump is he suddenly having a feeling like he's not up to it? I don't know. It's a strange choice.
He has gotten lazier. I mean, he doesn't do as much. His activity level is down from 2020 and 2016, and he's 78 years old.
Yep.
So that is possibly a part of it. But our Mark Caputo's reporting shows that he is digging the Vance vibe. And I think that Vance is really wonderful at being obsequious and worshiping Trump, and not only doing a great job of defending him all the time on air or in whatever podcasts, but then behind closed doors, Lord only knows. And so at some level, Trump, if you're Laura Loomer, even if you cause him trouble, but you really love him and you're really, you're ride or die, he likes you. And so there's a part of the Vance-Trump union that's so interesting to me, right? They're both completely full of rage. They both have devastating daddy issues. And they're just, the only thing that really soothes their anger is like hating on people. So I think they're kindred spirits. And I think that, the fact that Trump knows at some level that he is incoherent, that he shouldn't go to the New York Economic Club and talk about how tariffs will somehow pay for childcare, that he doesn't make sense anymore, and that Vance has to go out and sort of duke it out on a lot of these issues. I don't know.